Hello and welcome to Sew It Yourself. Today we are going to learn how to make the girly dress. I hope you enjoy and most importantly I hope you have some fun. Okay, so we all got our bed sheets. If you'd like to have it so you're holding the top two corners like this, and if you'd just like to fold it in half for me, two corners are meeting. I'm not using the same fabric as the one at the picture at the beginning because I like to keep all the fabrics different so nobody gets confused. So I'm using a nice brown circular pattern today. Okay, so once you've got it nicely folded in half, let's just lay it out. You need to get the top end towards you because we're going to start cutting out the armholes and the neck holes. Like this. We're going to start off with cutting out the neck holes and the armholes. Now for the neck hole I have a measurement of 9 cm by 9 cm. Obviously everyone's neck is different sizes, so you all need to measure your necks to make sure you're going to be able to get it on. You also want to leave an extra little bit of room to get your head through. So I just took the tape measure from the middle of my neck up to the side. Because we're cutting it in half, we only need a quarter dimension. So I worked out 9. So we want to cut 9 across and mark. This corner here is on your folded corner. You want to get the folded corner. And then 9 cm down. Then from those 2 points, here and here, we just want to draw a little circular line to make the neck hole. We don't want it to go too deep. We want it quite shallow, otherwise it will start falling off of your neck. So it ends up looking like this. For the armhole, I have a measurement from a block bodice pattern piece of 6 cm by 24 cm. So, if I just measure 6 cm in from the edge of the other side, so that's 6 cm across that way, and make a mark, and then 24 cm down, and then make another mark. Now this line wants to go in more of an L shape. So we want to come from the top, draw straight down, and then curve it into the next point. And close up, it looks like this. Okay, so to make sure these are exactly perfect on both sides, we have to pin the fabrics together. This will make sure it's nice and flat and there is no movement when we're cutting it out. Okay, so now we just want to cut along those lines nice and easy with a steady hand. Cut the neck hole first. Nice smooth curve. Done. And then your armhole, again straight down. And then in from the side. And a nice smooth curve. There we go. So you got your neck hole cut out and then your armhole cut out. Now we have the armhole and the neck hole cut out, we need to cut off the length because nobody wants a dress as long as a bedsheet. My personal length for my body is 89 centimetres. The best way to measure this is to stand up and drop the tape measure down by your side, like so. Okay, so you just want to grab your tape measure with 0 at the end, and you just want to drop it whilst holding it onto your shoulder, and keep pushing it down until you see a nice length that you want. And then hold it to the point to your shoulder and just grab the tape measure and see what it says. Mine says 89 centimetres, and that is how long my dress is going to be. Okay, so just grab your tape measure again, find where we're going down to. We just want to measure from the top of the dress down to our point and make a mark. And we want to do that all the way across so we get a nice equal measurement. Next, you need to just grab a ruler, and we just need to line up all of these marks that you've made to get a nice straight line across the dress. This is your hem. And then we just need to cut straight across there, nice and easy. Now we can unpin all down the sides, and then we'll have the basis of our dress. Just open it out. So far, it doesn't really look like a dress. We have our neckline, perfect. A big shoulder seam. Your armhole there, and then your side seam. All the side seams are all done, so that's nice and easy for us. Now what we're going to do is sort out these big shoulder seams. And the best way to do that is a bit of gathering. So it's up to the sewing machine. Okay, so if you start to grab your shoulder seam, it should already have a fold, if not a seam in there. Mine just got a fold. We're going to sew just a straight, simple stitch along the seam, along the line, the fold or the seam. Straight, simple stitch. We want quite a big stitching size for this, so just crank that up a little bit. It needs to be quite loose. What we're about to do. Okay, so once your machine is all threaded up, we are just going to do a straight, simple line. As we start sewing the first seam, we want to do a back stitch, a forward stitch and a back stitch. This will help keep the thread in place at that end, so forward, backward, forward, and then we can just carry on and do a straight, simple stitch. Going at your own pace. You want to make sure as you're doing it, you're not catching any of the material underneath. We just want to be sewing that one seam and that one seam only. It's not being sewn to anything. We're just going straight along. Now I've done my sewing in a black stitch just so you can see it. When you're doing your own dress, if you'd like to do it in a thread that is as close to your material as possible, it will look better that way. No stitching seam, which is what we want. As we get to the end, just like to pull your needle up, lift your foot and just pull it out. We don't want to detach the thread just yet. We want to pull that thread out. so it's nice and long. And then we snip it there. Okay, so as you can see, the stitch has a top thread and a bottom thread. I don't know if you can see that very well. It has a top thread and a bottom thread. If you grab that top thread, we should be able to just keep, if you put it nice and gently, it will run along the fabric. But we have to do it very gently. See that gathering? So if we just pull that nice and gently all the way down, just keep doing that. If you pull it too stiff or too strongly, the thread will break and then you'll have to do it all again. That's not what we want. It does take some time, but it will definitely be worth it. When you've pulled it as much as you can, it will all become, your big sleeve will become gathered like this. And it will only go so far, so small. Yeah, okay, so when you've done that, you want to grab the top thread and the bottom thread and just tie it together. That will keep it in place. Otherwise it will come undone and we'll have to do it all over again. So if you just do a little knot, tie it, knot, tie it, knot. I think that should be secure. Okay, so now to keep it even more secure, we just want to do a running stitch all along here again. That will lock in all of those gathers that we've just made. This can be a bit tricky on some machines. You want to just take it slowly because now the fabric has gone really thick. Again, to start off with, we want to go forward, backwards, forwards. Now this time, as you get to the end, we want to go, stop at the end, we want to go backwards and forwards and backwards again. So just keep that in place, pull your needle out, and again just pull yourself away, and then just a little snip. So that's held in place now, we can just leave that there for now. We want to do the exact same to the other side. Make sure you are doing the other side of the neck hole. There's your neck, there's your shoulder seam, there's your neck hole. We don't want to be doing, there's your armhole, and we don't want to be doing that bit, okay? So we want to do the exact same to this side now. Okay, so now we have both the shoulder seams done. They're nice and short now. We are well on our way. If you'd just like to grab your ribbon, you can choose whatever colour ribbon you would like. I have chosen a white ribbon. This is so I can show you it on the garment, not be nice and shown easily. Again, I'm going to do it in a black thread, but please try and do it in the same colour as your ribbon or as close to. Okay, so this is going to cover up those gathers because it looks quite ugly and messy at the moment. So you just want to measure it, but then have some left over on the end so you can tuck it under. Just like to grab your pins, and best way is to pin it into place. So it's going to look like this over the seam. Doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be straight, because once it's on your shoulders you won't be able to tell that much anyway. We are just going to sew down this edge here, all along the top edge on the ribbon, and then all along the bottom edge of the ribbon. Okay, it is quite tricky, so please go slow. And again, remember, remove those pins if your machine does not go over them. You want to keep that needle in as you get to the end, so it stays in place as you twist around and sew over the edge. Keeps it in place for you. Pop your foot back down. Then again, back stitch, forward stitch. Done. Yours will obviously be a lot neater. Again, if it's done in the correct thread, it will look a lot better as well. But it just covers up all those seams underneath, and then you need to get a nice little gathering around the edges. But again, please do the stitching with the thread in the same colour as the ribbon. It will look a lot better. And just do the same for the other side. Okay, so once that's done, you've got your 2 shoulder patches done. Now we're going to attach the trimmings on. With your lace, you want to always start at the centre back. This is because this is where your 2 ends will meet, and we don't want everyone to see those at the front. We want it to be nice and hidden. So, what you want to do is with this part, this is your centre back. We want to just fold this over. So grab it and fold it. And then with the edging of your lace, you can just sew it right onto the top like that. Okay, so if you just do that all the way around, it can be a long procedure. Make sure you're going right over the ribbon, as well as you want to catch the ribbon into this. Okay, so with your remaining lace, as you come back round to meet the other end, you just want to leave it there, just in case the fabric stretches or gets caught up. Just leave it there, don't trim it off just yet. Okay, so we just want to sew all along the edge where it joins. Making sure the material is tucked under and you are removing the pins as you go along. And then you have a nice finish to your neck. Of course, yours will look better because you won't do it in a black thread, you'll do it in the thread that matches your lace the most, preferably white, if possible. But it just gives a nice finish to the neck. Now you do the exact same with the armholes, doing the exact same all the way around, but if you just have your meeting edges at this point here, and it will look beautiful. Okay, so now we have attached all the lace onto the garment, we need to think about something to do with the hem. The best way to do a hem, if you don't have a hemming machine, is to fold it over once, inwards, about 1 centimetre, fold it over again, inwards, and then just sew along this line. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. So I like to just fold it all and then pin it. It's a lot easier, so if you just do that. If you press the hem before you sew, it will make it a lot neater and it will make it a lot easier to sew. So once that's been pressed, just go ahead and start sewing. Try and sew as close to this edge as possible. Gives you a nice distance and it will look better on the outside that way. Okay, so once we've done the hem and we've backstitched, forward stitched, backstitched on the last piece, it should look a little bit like this. Of course, it would look a whole lot better if it was in the same colour as the material, so it's less noticeable. But you get the idea, I'm doing it just so you can see that. And that is your dress finished. Okay, so once we've done that, your dress is done. But because it is so big and we're going for the dolly theme, it needs to have, you can either put your own belt around your waist or we can make a little tie, which we're going to do next. Okay, so to make this waist belt, I have just got the leftover of our bed sheet here. It is still folded in half like it was before. It's just easy to cut that way, easy to measure out. I've just pinned all along the top here just so it keeps the fabric together, keeps it nice and flat and straight for us. The measurement that I have for the waist belt is 15 centimetres. It does look a little bit big at the moment, but that just gives us enough room then to sew around the edges, and if we do make any mistakes, it won't affect much. So I'm just going to measure that out. Okay, so now that's all been measured out, I've just made a few marks across there. I've done quite a lot because I like to just cut straight across. If you like, you can join up these marks if it makes it easier for you with a ruler, but I'm going to just cut straight across. I'm just going to cut that now. Okay, so I've just removed the pins, and that is the basis of our waist belt. Just like to turn it inside out so the two edge seams are on the outside. That'll make it easier for us. I just need you to cut off one of these edge seams. Doesn't really matter how neat or tidy it is, but if you just like to cut it off. The reason we've done that is so when we do sew it down the edges, there is no gathering or no puckering, and then when we do want to turn it back inside out, we can use that end then to turn it back through. Just need you to pin all along down the sides now so it makes it easier for us to sew. Just straight along, as many pins as you would like. Again, we want to leave the edge nice and open. We don't want to pin any of that, so you just go straight onto the next side and pin all the way down the side again. And now we're going to sew these two side seams together. Okay, so once we've pinned it, we're just going to do a straight running stitch again, like we have done everything else. You want to keep it quite close to the edge. Make sure both sides of your fabric are always meeting. You don't want no overspill. And again, you want to go forwards, backwards, forward. And then just keep sewing all the way down. When you get to the end, we don't want to go along the bottom bit because we need that open to turn it back inside out. So when you do get to the end, just do a backward stitch, forward stitch again, just to tie that in place. And then we want to run along, all along down the other side. And just flip that over, and now go along down, all the way down that side. Now just flip that over, and you just want to go down all the way down the other side. When you get to the end, you just want to make sure you pull out all your corners properly so it's nice. So you've got nice right angles there, which can sometimes prove difficult, but if you just do the best you can. And then here is your tie. That of course will need ironing and pressing. With the end that is open, what we need to do now is just fold it all in on itself, nice and evenly, and then just sew across there. That is all done, and now your dress is complete. If you do have any questions, please do contact me via my blog, which was where you found this video, or do email me. I will attach an email at the end of this video. Please send me pictures of how your dresses do turn out, and let me know if you want any more other videos for different pieces. Thank you very much. Goodbye!